Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our video today on effective reselling strategy for managed service providers. I am joined today by the lovely Katie Vreeland. Katie, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and tell us, I guess, as a warm up question, does peanut butter and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich go on the top slice of bread or the bottom slice of bread?
Absolutely. Well, I'm Katie Vreeland. I'm the founder of Luminary Creative. I have been in the tech and vendor space, mostly startup space, for about 18 years now. I also worked in an MSP for about 5 years to really see how they function on the inside, how they sell, what their problems are, and what solutions they need before I came back to the vendor side.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And the warm up question: What side? What top slice or bottom slice? Where does the peanut butter go?
Top
Everyone has a
slice, I would
preference.
say, a little bit safer. I
Awesome,
think
awesome,
so.
awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I've seen some of the work you've been doing out there in the space around marketing and with some of your clientele. So I'm excited to have you help you to share some wisdom with our community out there and some of our partners at Sherweb. So let's kick it off, right? So like where we have a security program, we have some security solutions, right? And we're trying to sell them, right? So how do we? What's our strategy? Like how do we go to market and how do we discuss these with our potential clients?
Yeah. So when we're thinking about reselling, really we have to think about the relationship that we have there because we want our partners to trust us. If we're going to bring them products that aren't necessarily our own, but ones that we trust, we want to make sure that they understand that it's something that we trust in, that we use, that we believe in, that we're not just here to try and push it to get some more revenue. We want to truly help them with what they're doing to have a positive outcome in the future. We're actually here to build them the future that they imagine, which is why they're also using us or the MSP in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's we go back to like old school selling, which is a lot of transactional relationships, right? Like I always liken it to this. Like I sell you all you buy a license from me, I give you support, and that's the end of it. But like that's changing a
Right.
lot too. Like people want more than just like that basic level of sales and service, right?
Right. You're trying to sell an outcome rather than just like an offer. Like you want to give them the vision of, hey, if you can have an ideal future for your business, let's look 3 years from now. What does that look like? And then walk it back and explain to them how you're going to help them get there or how this solution that you're presenting them is going to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you start that conversation? Like you can't just walk in and just be like, "Hey, I'm here to fix your business outcomes," right? Like how do you preface that conversation? Is there like some key points? Some is there a checklist? Like what do you do? What do you do to start that conversation?
Yeah, really, it's putting anything visual in front of them. So, one piece that I like to do when I'm working with security is use a risk analysis gap checklist. And all it is going through all the parts of their business where they might have security gaps, walking through if they actually have this in place, if they don't, or if they're unsure. This is going to tell them exactly what they need, what they might be at risk of. And it can even show them like, here's the key pieces that I don't have, and here's the cost if I don't take any action on it. That's a huge motivator.
Yeah, it's, you're speaking my language here, right? Like risk based discussions has been. I feel like it's been something that we've been talking about for a while, but you still see a lot of MSPs out there still using the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? FUD. So like
Yeah.
ransomware hits you every 10 seconds, or business email compromises, or happen to 40% of companies every year. Like, don't be a victim. And like, while that I guess can resonate business relationship wise, right? You don't want someone buying something from you on I guess at an emotional level. Like emotion is part of it, right? Like you need them to
Mhm.
love and admire your product and your solutions and your team. But like, how do you separate those two? How do you separate the FUD
Right.
selling from the risk based selling, right?
Yeah. So I was actually someone that who worked at an MSP who had a bad attack happen, a Russian Ryuk attack that came through. So anytime after that, like the news was on CNN, it was all over the place. People took that as a huge advantage to take that fear based selling and try and get us to purchase any sort of product. And it was almost such a trigger because we don't want to keep being reminded of it. Thankfully, everything was secure. No one got in, but it was still a huge event that happened. I don't want to be reminded of that. I want to be able to look forward into the future and see, okay, that's behind me, but what can I actually have where I don't need to think about this, where things are almost prevented rather than being detected? Like, how can I think about this differently so I actually have a security plan that's going to give me the future I want? And a lot of that is really doing discovery with your client. Like, what do they need? How can you be compassionate with them, but also show your conviction to how important this is? And really play into like, you're here to support them, not just sell to them and not just push something.
Yeah, that was, I could go back to my MSP days, and we did a lot of attorneys, right? Like my main vertical was
Yes.
attorneys, and look, they are not technical people. Like I remember, when we first started off, we tell them about all the cool technology we are using and everything, and I remember one attorney just looking at me and going like, "Come on, man, you guys stop speaking nerd to me. I don't understand it." And that's when I was like, it hit me like, yeah, he was joking, but at the same point, like, yeah, I am talking about tech and not about outcomes with them. And
Right.
like when you're dealing with attorneys, their main concern is their reputation, right? In the community and in the legal field and everything. Like they don't want to be considered scammy or scummy, or they want to be considered like trusted in your legal woes or whatever's going on, right? So like we would play to their reputation. Like, all right, if you had an incident and it affected your clients, right, or if it was downtime, and like how would this affect your billing and et cetera, like your reputation and your ability to pay bills, especially since attorneys bill by the hour, right?
Yeah.
That was the driving conversation. It wasn't like ransomware is going to hit you. It was like, well, what happens when ransomware or something bad happens, even an outage, right?
Right.
I remember talking with an attorney, and while we were talking with them, their phone system went down. And I said, "So what happens when your phone system goes down?" He's like, "Well, someone tries to call me, right? Because they run radio ads, TV ads, billboard ads,
Hmm.
whatever. No one picks up the phone. Like, I could be losing out on a $300 or $400,000 settlement." And I was like, "All right, well, let's drive this business outcome, right? Let's make some things more
Right.
resilient here." But that's what you're talking about right now. You're talking about
Yep.
having those type of conversations and not just selling on the fear based, right?
Right. And that brings up a great point too, is we're so used to speaking technical. And that's almost part of our own reputation too. Like we want to be seen as very knowledgeable in what we do and that we know the technical side inside and out. But our clients and our end users, they're not technical people. Like they aren't going to understand all the jargon that we're throwing out there since have a ton of it. So many in our space, so many different words for the same things. Like speak plain language, just ELI5, like break it down as simple as possible
Yeah.
to this is what it is, this is what it solves, what it does, and what your future will be like from using this. They don't need to know all the deep technical specifics of things.
Yeah, for sure. You talked about all the technical terms, right? We even have an acronym for that. It's called TLAs, three-letter
Yeah.
acronyms, right? Like we have too
Right.
many
Yeah.
too many TLAs in this space, right?
So
Uh,
many new ones every day.
yeah. All right. So you work a lot with both vendors and MSPs. So like when
Right.
you're talking with MSPs, like what are the challenges they're coming to you with, and like how do you help solve them a little bit?
Yeah. With MSPs, they're so good at the technical part, but when it comes to, a go to market, how do they talk about their business? How do they talk about what they do? How do they sell? They really lack. And it's almost a lack of confidence more than anything because they just don't know that part really well. A lot of MSPs, the same guy that's doing all the support is doing the selling too. It's no fault of their own. It's starting to grow a business. But it's just finding that extra little bit of training or awareness to help you through. Here's some simple things for marketing to get you out there. Here's some simple strategies for selling. Like those are the key pieces that we can dumb down and make as simple as possible. But there's plenty of people in all sorts of industries that want to make selling and marketing seem like this big, chaotic, difficult thing so that no one wants to attempt it and they'll buy it from someone else to just do it. But it's just simple. You want to show them an outcome from someone else that has been successful through you, get them a case study, give them data. You want to explain very clearly what you're selling to them and what it is and how it supports them. And if it's not for them, tell them that. Like that creates so much trust and credibility alone. They just want to know that they're supported. And that's a lot of what a sales conversation is, walking them through each of those steps.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's those key pieces. If you just dumb them down, they're so simple, but it's what's lacking for MSPs.
Yeah. Yeah. You talked about how technical, a lot of the MSPs are, right? Because they usually, like a lot of these guys, for the most part, the ones I run across, they were technicians or engineers, or
Yeah.
and then they said, I want to go start my own business, and so like
Yeah.
they became business owners overnight. And like one of the problems I always saw with engineers who did sales or did something that's outside of their normal scope of knowledge, it's like they had to see all the pieces before they started that first step because they wanted to know what the end product was going to be. And so always said use the
Hmm.
acronym like guy won't pull out his garage until all the stoplights turn green, right? And like that's never
Right.
it's never how you're never going to get anywhere doing that. So you have to be able to say, all right, well, like what's my first like I know what my end goal is going to be in a vague sense in a year, 2 years,
Mhm.
3 years. I can tell you from my experience, those goals are going to change. But you have to start working towards them. It's like, what's my first step? What's my first second step? My third step, right? And then like you're gonna pivot. You're gonna realize that like, all right, this isn't working or this is working, and I can change it. But like, I think it's like taking that first step into sales or into marketing or whatever is like that's what scares. I think a lot of
It
people.
is. It is really scary too. We're so prone to avoid any sort of rejection. And sales is almost a very personal thing
Yeah,
because it's our product, it's our baby. We love it. We love our service we're providing. Well, if someone says no to me, that means that they don't want it. They don't think that I can provide it or I did well enough, anything like that. You have to put yourself out there. Like that rejection game only makes you better. Um, I think it's very important just to take the small steps and trying to have everything together at once. It's such an easy trap to fall into because it's what everyone online tells you to do is get all your ducks in a row.
yep,
Don't just get out there. Start pushing it. Start talking about your passion for it and why you're doing it. Let people in to see who you are, why you're doing what you do, your background, and how you want to take care of them and keep them safe, keep them running, keep their business going.
yeah.
It's really just a lot of times in sales, we miss the human element.
Yeah, that's what I was about to tackle. It's like a lot of times, and this is coming from my own experience. It's like you look at sales and marketing as like some flashy, shellacked version of what you do, but it doesn't have to be that. Like it can be vulnerable, it could be real and relative, and you can talk about the good and the bad, right? Like it's not just all
Yeah.
polish all the time, right? There is some polish to it, but like for the most part, it doesn't have to be this fake artificial, type of engagement you're having with your partners or your potential partners.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that persona that you see on TV or online of the sales guy. Like red flags go off as soon as I start hearing that tone of the sales guy. Just be there and know that like I can talk to you about what my problems are and what I need help with. And you can be there to support me and talk back to me about it and give me some sort of path forward. That's all I need. I don't need to know the features or the little separate instances. I just want to know that like I can be kept safe, accountable, and my business running.
Yeah. And that goes back to like I like most of the time, and this is I'm a flout my opinion here, is that we get a lot of our marketing stuff from our vendors, right? Like that's
Mhm.
and like it could be a little troublesome sometimes because like as a vendor, right? I'm gonna put my vendor hat on,
Yep.
right? Like you want something that resonates, but at the same time, like some vendors take it a little too far, and maybe we see it with battle cards, and we see it with some of the other marketing campaigns that go out there. Is there's a lot of fear-based selling going on, and then the MSPs ingest that and then turn around and just regurgitate it to their clients, which doesn't always
Right.
they don't always hit, right? Because the way you want to sell to an MSP is going to be different than the way you want to sell downstream to your clients, right? What resonates with them. So, like, so how do we leverage our vendor partnerships on the marketing or selling side, and then how do we cut through the fluff sometimes to create our own marketing strategy, I guess, or selling strategy?
Yeah, yeah, it's hard when working with vendors. And granted, like second business going in as a vendor, and I have my consulting, so I'm very aware and guilty of this too. You, when you're a vendor, a lot of times you're putting out there everything, every little stat, every feature. You want to say how much better you are than the next guy and what's going to happen if they don't have it because the world's going to end. And it's almost like it does them a disservice. I think for an MSP, when you get any vendor marketing, it's really important to go through it, read it, look at the website, and put into your own words, like, what does that mean for you? How do you experience that? If you use them, what does it look like on your end? Is it successful? Is it not? And then really just cutting that back into your own language. You don't have to copy exactly what the vendor says because a lot of times, no offense, but the vendors aren't great at their own marketing. They just aren't. And that's where I come in a lot of times. You just need to make it to be plain language.
Yeah.
And it's not complicated, but simple can be complicated when you really try and distill down to the core of something. So it's really like putting it in your own words. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. That's the part, right? Like I see so many vendors and like I call them out, especially if it's vendors that we have in our line code to put things like no like remove risk from your network or protect all,
Yeah.
and I'm like, come on guys, like it's not an absolute because if I turn around as an MSP and I say that to my clients, right? Like I'm going to remove all the risk in your environment or I'm going to we're going to have no incidents or no ransomware and it happens,
Mhm.
like you've made a promise you can't
Yeah.
commit to. And the vendor will be fine in this situation. It's you who has the potential to lose a client or lose multiple clients if it affects your MSP.
Yeah. And it's also a huge legal issue if you are an MSP and you are reselling a security service and you are giving them the vendors promises.
Yeah.
Like you are then liable. I just had a conversation with Brad Gross about this probably a few weeks ago. Oh, it's a very real, scary thing. Like, one, you never use the word guarantee ever in
There's
sales,
no
ever,
guarantee.
or
There's no
marketing. You just
guarantee.
never, ever.
There's no
Yeah.
guarantee in
And you don't,
security.
you never promise anything that a vendor says that they promise because then it's on you. You are taking all the risk. Like, stay away from it. Just use your own language. You're the ones that bought it in the first place. You understand what it does. Break it down for someone.
100%. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. So we're coming close on time. So I'm gonna give you your last question.
Yeah.
This is the I think the one that's gonna make the short reel. So Katie, if you had a magic wand, right, and you had one wish, name the type of magic you want to use, and you could get rid of one bad practice around selling in the space, and it was gone in an instant. Well, what would you do, or what would that wish be?
Yeah. Uh, fear-based one. That's, I think you like hit a whole trigger for me and brought it back up in my head. Because I don't even let that get through when people I work with start telling me that's their sales motion. Just don't do it. It's not fair. You're playing on someone's emotions. You're playing on something that affected them or that they all the time worry about because it can drown their business. It can drown the companies that rely on them. It's just not fair. Like there's so much there's so much power in being transparent when you're selling and building trust that way. Like just use that. Like if there's anything that you can take away from this, like reselling isn't about creating and building these bigger margins. It's really about designing a whole experience so your clients can feel like they're confident, like they're protected, like they really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Like that's just the key of it.
And he's like, if you dig into like the metrics where it's like, all right, what's my client acquisition cost? And then what's my churn rate?
Yeah.
You start looking at those two and you go like, man, I'm spending a lot of money just for there to be a revolving door here. But like you could land
Yeah.
a handful of clients and keep them long term.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that, and I think that's where what you're talking about with the risk based selling and those discussions. Like I think that's where it comes into play.
Right. You
Yeah,
just have to like put yourself in their shoes and understand what they're going through, but really get them to tell you what's the outcome they want, what's the future they want. Play with that. If they can't have that, that's a huge risk to them. That blows up their whole business plan. You want to be able to help them achieve that.
yeah. All right. With our last question, Katie, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, best way is to find me on LinkedIn. Just Katie Vreeland. I should be the only one on there. Feel free to reach out there or schedule time with me. I really hope there's no others on there now that I say that. But yeah, message me, book time with me. It's right on my page. I love having conversations, even if you just have a couple questions about your marketing or your sales, anything, I'm here for it.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the road very shortly.
See you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Appreciate you. Bye.